Hello and welcome back to another video, people. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And today we're doing a different video. I've done this kind of video before for the David Beckham documentary, and I was on international break and there was nothing to talk about because it was international break then. But today I'm talking about the Manchester City documentary, the one that came out on Netflix a week ago, last Monday. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you are new. We're trying to get to 500 and we're nearly on 250. I'm going to keep saying it until we reach 500. 500 before the end of the year would be ideal. And yeah, let's get into it. So I've been anticipating this documentary because at first I was very confused because usually Man City drop their documentaries every year on YouTube. But I wasn't seeing it for a while. I saw a trailer. But I didn't know this until I watched the documentary that it got before the trailers, that it was sold to Netflix. So I didn't even see the headline that it was sold to Netflix. I've just seen straight away that, suddenly it's on Netflix. I just thought they just didn't want to change their mind about releasing the documentary. I was like, it's a bit of a shame because I like watching documentaries like this, where it's like inside of the dressing room, sometimes playing backstory throughout the season. And that's why I like watching the All or Nothing documentaries on Amazon. I'm pretty sure Manchester City were the first football team to do that. And there's a Tottenham one, there's an Arsenal one. I'm trying to think. Obviously, there's that the famous clips from Neil Warnock. You might see when he's doing the Sheffield United team talks. I don't know what season that was, and I don't know where you can watch that, but you'll see the clips where Neil Warnock's like, "You've got to die to get 3 points" and stuff like that. But I thought I'd talk about it today. Because why not? The Manchester City documentary. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It was, again, good insight. Well edited. They used the same transition music as they usually do for the usual Manchester City documentaries on YouTube, meaning that this was going to be for YouTube. But I imagine that this was slightly edited for Netflix. And it was good to get see the players talking, see what the characters are like in the dressing room, see the mentality, stuff like that. I think the best City documentary was the All or Nothing, the Centurion season, where in Amazon they go into a bit more detail than the YouTube Netflix ones. But this one was also very good, because it was insight on the mentality of, winning a treble, which is something only that's been done in Manchester by two teams. And one thing I was really surprised about, Kyle Walker was not there that much. And I expected, out of all people, I would have heard Kyle Walker a lot. We heard more of De Bruyne. Now, what I've seen of De Bruyne and what I've heard of De Bruyne, good character, just likes to have a laugh. I've watched him in a video of Harry Pinera before. He cracks some banter, cracks some jokes, and he's still doing that in this doc. Rodri's a character. Bernardo Silva's a character. Ruben Diaz, by the way, his speeches is like, yeah, that's what I want to hear in a leader. But the main speech that stuck out to me, I think it was Leeds United away, where Manchester City had to go to Ellen Road. I think it was the first game that they had after the World Cup break. So this is obviously it's based on last season. And when I watched it, he said, before the game, I've been seeing what they're saying about Arsenal and stuff, and seeing what they've been saying about you guys. He was like, I've been watching the Arsenal match, and I watched after and see what they've been saying about you guys. It's like they don't respect you guys. He said, it's like they don't respect you. It's like to sum it up, it's like they're taking you for granted. Let's show them that we're champions, sort of thing. And obviously they beat Leeds. They were going to beat Leeds without that speech. But it's stuff like that to keep the mentality up. And because they've won so much in a row, you think, how do they keep up the motivation? How do they? And obviously, City like to refresh. They probably could have done more, last summer when they got Doku, Kovacic, Nunes, etc. and Gavardio. They probably could have done more because they lost someone like a Gundogan, who's a big character, as you'll see in the dressing room. Even Mahrez is a character. They are very specific on characters, and that's obviously what wins you big things. Roy Keane, when you hear Roy Keane talk about Man United sides, that's his main word that he likes to use is character. But it was interesting to see. And with Ruben Diaz, with Rodri, like, you can tell that the main, like, voices of the dressing room. Ilkay Gundogan even said he's more one of the more quieter ones. One of the more quieter characters within the dressing room. Scott Carson, even though he's a third choice goalie, people love him. He's literally one of the most popular guys there. I loved hearing about Jack Grealish, just great character. Phil Foden, again, great character. Erling Haaland, funny. Alvarez's character, Ortega's a character. Literally everyone in that dressing room was a character. God knows what Kovacic, Cavani, or Doku were like. But those people in that dressing room were characters. They were like driving people on. There's such a good team spirit around that club. And that obviously probably helps amongst the fact that they've got immense quality within their team. But it was just mad to see in the Champions League when the emotion, what it meant and stuff. And obviously, you know, like, Champions League's pinnacle. But what it meant to everyone to win their first Champions League in a treble season is mad. To do that in that kind of season, it was clearly special. Clearly special for that club. The documentary was nice, and it had a nice vibe to it, a nice timeline. It didn't, like, obviously City don't lose many games anyway, but if you look at, let me single out that Arsenal all or nothing, Arsenal are a very PR-based club. So when I remember there was a rough period of time when they were going through, like, Everton away, Man United away, etc., when they kept losing in that 21-22 season. They showed the dressing room to Everton away, but they didn't show Man United away when they lost 3-2. They didn't show certain games because they lost. They didn't show their dressing room where City battered Arsenal 5-0. They didn't show the dressing room where, well, I think they did for the Chelsea game, but they didn't even show it for the Brentford game, the opening Brentford game where Arsenal lost to Brentford. It's like they don't skip games, you know? Like, even with the City All or Nothing documentary, you can see the dressing room where Pep's like, nobody talk after they lose to Wigan. And all of it is interesting, like, especially, like, after the charges as well, like, how did City react after the charges? And Pep's like, where are my Warriors? I need my Warriors back. I can't remember what game it was, but he was like, from what I saw out there, you guys don't want to win the league. You guys don't want to win the Champions League. You don't want to win these things. You don't want to win the Premier League. I was specific, like, Pep said something as well in the build-up to the Champions League final that last time he was there, he tried to be more aggressive with the players at half-time, but it didn't work. And it feels like aggressive going mad does not work with players anymore in this era. And I've heard this before with other characters, with other players, and talking about how dressing room changes and the eras of football and stuff. And the hairdryer treatment probably doesn't work anymore, probably because of how soft everyone is and how soft the footballers are compared to the footballers before my time, or even in my time in the 2010s era. That probably doesn't work anymore. That's probably why Mourinho doesn't get his message towards players as he may used to. But it was legit, like, well, these kind of documentaries are always fun. Always fun to watch. Always fun to see. I recommend you go and check it out. I'm not saying it's like the best documentary in the world or anything, but just to take you through like a season, I like those kind of documentaries. But make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you are new. Social medias are in the description if you want to follow me, and the email for the inquiries. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.